Have you ever stared at a dense, complicated text and felt your brain just, well, completely shut down, wondering if there's a secret code to unlocking perfect reading comprehension instantly?
It is a universally paralyzing feeling. You see this massive wall of academic text, the clock is ticking loudly in the background, and suddenly
They forget how to read.
Exactly. You feel like you've completely forgotten your own native language, let alone a second one. Your vision blurs, your heart rate spikes, and the panic just sets in.
Yeah, we have all been there, staring at a page of English that might as well be written in, I don't know, ancient hieroglyphs.
Right.
But here's the good news. Today, you will learn the step-by-step methods to completely master reading comprehension. We will break down every single trap that catches people off guard and give you the tools to read faster, understand more, and never get tricked by confusing questions again.
We are going to turn you from a panicked reader into a strategic mastermind.
I love that.
But before we reveal the total 12 crucial strategies for specific reading questions, it is believed you must first master 3 core foundational mindsets.
Okay, 3 mindsets.
Right. Without these, the strategies just fall apart. Those mindsets are ignoring your own logic, analyzing grammatical clues, and prioritizing where before what.
Welcome to English Learning Podcast for daily life, real conversation, and easy listening practice.
Yeah, glad to be here.
If you are a dedicated learner, an ambitious professional, or someone looking to conquer reading tests and elevate your English to a B2 or C1 level, this deep dive is custom tailored for you. We are here to inspire you, motivate you, and get you speaking out loud today.
It's going to be a highly practical, intensely analytical session. We're not just going to give you a list of generic tips.
No, definitely not.
We're going to look at the psychological mechanics of how advanced texts are built. Think of a C1 academic text not as a piece of writing, but as a heavily fortified bank vault.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
The test designers are the security architects. Every multiple choice distractor is a laser tripwire. Every not given option is a decoy safe. Our goal today isn't to teach you how to read, it's to teach you how to bypass the security, crack the vault, and extract the exact information you need.
Okay, let's unpack this. But before we dive into the text and start dodging laser tripwires, what does talking about the rain have to do with passing an advanced reading test?
Right.
You'll find out in just a second.
I know it sounds like a completely strange transition. We just promised you a masterclass in cracking academic vaults, and now we were talking about umbrellas.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pivot.
But neurologically, it makes perfect sense. Reading a high-level academic text requires a massive amount of cognitive energy. You cannot just jump straight into it cold.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't run a marathon without stretching my hamstrings first. I imagine the brain works the exact same way.
Absolutely.
If you've been speaking your native language all morning and suddenly you drop your brain into a 1,000-word essay on the biomechanics of deep-sea squid.
Your brain is going to reject it.
Exactly. You have to warm up your language centers first.
Precisely. You have to actively engage Broca's area and Wernicke's area. Those are the parts of your brain responsible for language production and comprehension.
Science.
Right, science. Before you tackle heavy, dense academic texts, you need to warm up your English-speaking muscles with daily life conversation. It basically forces your brain to code switch into English mode.
So we're going to do a quick role play exercise. We're going to practice some common weather small talk. And listener, we want you to actively participate.
Weather is the ultimate universal topic. It is the perfect bridge into English fluency because it requires low cognitive load, but it gets the linguistic gears turning.
That makes sense.
Let's imagine we are standing at a bus stop. The sky suddenly turns very dark, the wind picks up, and it starts pouring rain unexpectedly.
Okay, I'll start. Listen closely to the intonation and the natural flow, and then I will give you a chance to practice. Ready? Here we go.
Wow.
I cannot believe this rain. The forecast said it was supposed to be sunny all day.
I know, right? I didn't even bring an umbrella. Do you think it's going to stop soon?
I'm not sure. Look at those dark clouds. But hopefully it will clear up by this afternoon.
Excellent. Now it is your turn to speak. We want you to physically use your vocal cords right now. Don't just think the words in your head.
No mumbling.
Speaking out loud helps build muscle memory in your jaw and tongue for English phonetics.
Now it's your turn. Repeat this phrase out loud after me. Wow, I cannot believe this rain.
Good. Notice how the emphasis is on the word believe to show surprise?
Yeah.
Let's do the next one. Repeat out loud. I didn't even bring an umbrella.
Amazing. And the final one, really focus on the rhythm. Repeat after me. Hopefully it will clear up by this afternoon.
Great job. Your brain is now officially in English mode.
Yay.
So now let's analyze the linguistic mechanics of a very specific phrasal verb we just used there, to clear up. This is an incredibly useful phrase for B2 and C1 learners to master.
Yes. To clear up. When we talk about the weather, if the weather clears up, it means the clouds go away, the rain stops, and the sky becomes sunny or clear again.
Right.
It describes a transition from a negative state to a positive state.
Exactly. For example, you might say, we delayed the picnic, waiting for the weather to clear up. But the true power of advanced vocabulary lies in its metaphorical application.
Oh, I see.
Clear up isn't just for meteorology. You can use it for anything that is confusing, problematic, or opaque.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. If you have a misunderstanding with a colleague at work, you can schedule a quick meeting to clear up the confusion.
Yes.
It means you are removing the conversational clouds so that the truth is visible.
That's a great way to put it. Or let's say you have a medical issue, like a mysterious rash on your arm. You take some antibiotics, and a week later you tell your doctor, the rash finally cleared up.
Oh, right.
It means it resolved, it went away. Understanding these multiple dimensions of a single phrasal verb is exactly the kind of linguistic flexibility you need for advanced reading.
So now that your vocal cords are warmed up and your brain is firing on all cylinders, let's look at why reading the text first is actually the worst mistake you can make.
It is the ultimate rookie error. And yet, 90% of test takers do it instinctively.
Wait, the worst mistake?
Yeah.
I have to pause here because that is a massive claim.
I know.
And hey, real quick, if you are finding this helpful so far, please take a second to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. We're about 10 minutes in, and your support means the world.
Okay, I really need to push back on this, though.
Go for it.
If I am taking a reading test, shouldn't my very first logical step be, actually reading the text? How can you answer questions about a text you haven't read?
It feels incredibly counterintuitive, I know. It goes against everything we are taught in school.
Exactly.
But jumping straight into a 1,000-word academic text without knowing what you are looking for is catastrophic waste of cognitive resources.
Yeah.
Imagine walking into a massive 100,000-square-foot supermarket without a shopping list, without knowing what you want to cook for dinner. Oh, man. I'd just wander the aisles aimlessly. I'd look at the cereal. I'd look at the produce. I'd get distracted by the bakery.
Exactly. You would consume a massive amount of visual information, but you wouldn't be achieving a specific goal.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
By the time you finally figure out you need milk, you are all the way in the electronics section and you have to walk all the way back. Standardized reading tests are not assessing your ability to enjoy a piece of literature. They are assessing your ability to extract specific data under immense time pressure.
So if reading the text first is wandering the supermarket without a list, what is the alternative? How do we build the list?
You apply the first of our foundational mindsets. It is called the where before what rule. This is the bedrock of advanced reading strategy.
Where before what? I like the sound of that. Break down the mechanics of how that actually works in practice.
When you open the test booklet, you completely ignore the text.
Ignore it. Got it.
You go straight to the first set of questions. Your only goal is to scan the text to locate where the answer is hiding. You are hunting for geographic coordinates on the page.
Like a map.
Exactly. Once you find the specific paragraph or sentence, the where, then, and only then, do you slow down, switch your brain from scanning mode to comprehension mode, and read carefully to figure out what the exact answer is.
Okay, I'm visualizing this. When I'm looking for the where, I am essentially using a different visual pathway in my brain. Right, I'm not sounding out words. My eyes are just darting across the page looking for a capital letter, a number, or a specific synonym. It is like using a metal detector. You swing it over the sand quickly. You don't start digging until the machine beeps.
That is a brilliant analogy. You do not dig until you hear the beep. And this applies perfectly to the first type of security system we need to bypass in our vault: sentence completion questions.
Sentence completion. You are given a sentence with a blank space, and you have to find the exact word from the text to fill it in. So applying our new rule, we read the incomplete sentence first.
Yes. You read the incomplete sentence, you isolate the keywords, and then you do something crucial. You try to predict what the missing word might be before you even scan the text.
Predicting the word. But I haven't read the text. Isn't that just blindly guessing?
No, it's an educated guess based on context. By predicting what type of word goes in the blank, you are priming your brain. You are setting the parameters for your metal detector.
Okay, give me an example.
If the sentence says, the engineers reinforced the bridge using a new type of blank, what do you know about that blank space?
Well, logically, it has to be material. And grammatically, it has to be a noun. So I'm looking for a noun that represents a building material.
Exactly. You've just narrowed down the entire English language to a specific category. Now, when you scan the text looking for the keywords engineers, reinforced, and bridge, your brain is hypersensitized to spot nouns related to materials.
But even with this strategy, there are two huge traps here that catch even the most advanced C1 level learners.
Oh.
The first one is ignoring the word count instructions. The test will explicitly state in bold letters, write no more than 2 words. And people will write 3 words because they found a beautifully descriptive phrase in the text.
It is one of the most tragic ways to lose points. You did the hard work. You found the exact location, you understood the context, you found the right information.
But you failed to follow the rules of the game.
Right. If the answer is carbon fiber, and you write strong carbon fiber, you get a 0. The test designers do this intentionally to test your attention to detail under stress. Always circle or physically highlight the word count instruction before you start.
Good tip. And the second trap is spelling. Now, I have always found this fascinating from a psychological perspective.
Right.
If we are just copying a word directly from the text to our answer sheet, how on earth do intelligent people misspell it? It's right there on the page in front of
I
them.
know, it sounds crazy. But it comes down to a phenomenon in cognitive psychology related to cognitive load and inattentional blindness.
Okay, big words.
When the clock is ticking, your adrenaline is pumping. Adrenaline triggers a fight or flight response, which inherently makes us rush. You locate a complex word in the text. Let's say the word is bureaucracy. Your brain recognizes the word as a whole shape.
Right, because fluent readers don't read letter by letter. We read by recognizing the holistic shape of the word.
Precisely. So your brain says, bureaucracy, I know that word. You look down at your answer sheet and your hand starts writing faster than your conscious brain is cracking the individual letters.
Oh no.
You miss an R, or you swap the E and the A, you don't even realize you did it because your brain autocorrects the shape when you quickly glance back at it. In standardized tests, if one single letter is wrong, the entire answer is objectively wrong.
Ouch. So the defense against this is to actively break that holistic shape apart. When you transfer the word, you have to force yourself to spell it letter by letter, B-U-R-E-A-U. You have to slow down your motor function.
Yes, exactly.
Now, a very similar challenge is summary completion. Instead of one isolated sentence, you have a whole paragraph summarizing a massive section of the text with multiple blanks.
Summary completion is where your knowledge of English grammar transitions from being just a set of rules into being your greatest weapon. Grammar acts as the architectural blueprint of the vault.
Right.
When you look at a blank space in a summary, you must run a grammatical diagnostic. Is the missing word a noun? Is it an active verb or a passive verb? Is it an adjective modifying the noun next to it?
This makes so much sense. If a summary sentence says the scientist made a brilliant blank,
Right.
you know immediately the blank must be a noun. You can't say a brilliant discovery. It must be a brilliant discovery.
Right.
You can instantly eliminate any word in the text that isn't a noun.
Exactly. Using your grammatical knowledge to predict and filter the answers is not just helpful, it is imperative.
Well, let's stop right there. Imperative. That is a fantastic C1 level vocabulary word. Can you break down the depth of that word for our listeners?
Absolutely. Imperative is an adjective that stems from the Latin word imperire, which means to command. When we say something is imperative, it means it is extremely important, vital, or essential.
Like beyond important.
Yeah, it carries a much heavier weight than just being important. If something is imperative, it means you absolutely must do it. There are 0 other options. It is a command.
I see the distinction. So staying hydrated is important for your health. But if you are lost in the Sahara Desert for 3 days, finding water isn't just important, it is imperative. It is a matter of absolute survival.
A perfect distinction.
Huh?
Another example sentence in a professional context could be, due to the recent data breach, it is imperative that all employees update their security passwords immediately.
Very serious.
Exactly. It communicates a sense of urgency, non-negotiability, and absolute necessity.
I love the authority behind that word, imperative. Use it in your next professional email or speaking exam, and you will instantly sound authoritative and highly proficient.
Definitely. So we have mastered finding exact words to fill in blanks, but here's where it gets really interesting.
Ooh, what happens when a test doesn't ask you to find a word, but instead gives you 4 options that all look perfectly logically correct? We'll solve the psychology of multiple choice next.
Multiple choice questions. The absolute classic. The bread and butter of every standardized test in the world. You get A, B, C, and D. And let's be honest, they are explicitly designed to be tricky.
They really are. I've noticed that test writers will deliberately include options that use the exact same vocabulary found in the text, but the meaning of the option is completely fundamentally different.
Yes. You've just identified one of the most common psychological traps used by psychometricians, the people who design these tests. It is based on a cognitive bias called the availability heuristic.
The availability heuristic, let's unpack that. What does that mean in the context of a reading test?
When under pressure, the human brain favors information that is easily recalled or readily available. If you skim a paragraph and see the words solar panels, inefficient, and cloudy days, your brain holds on to those words. Then you look at the multiple choice options. Option B says, solar panels are highly inefficient on cloudy days. Your brain lights up. It sees the exact words it just read. It feels familiar. It feels safe. So you choose option B.
But I'm guessing option B is the trap.
Almost always. If an option uses the exact same vocabulary phrasing as the text, it is highly likely to be a distractor.
Wow.
The text might have actually said, while early models of solar panels were inefficient, modern panels can capture significant energy even on cloudy days.
Oh.
Right. The text means the opposite of option B, but because option B used the same words, you fell for the trap.
Wow. So they are weaponizing our own brain's desire for pattern recognition against us. How do we defend against this?
This is why you must read the A, B, C, D options carefully, first to understand the slight semantic variations in meaning between them. Do not just look at the keywords, look at the entire conceptual argument of option A versus option B.
I like to think of this like being a lead detective in a murder investigation.
Oh, I like that.
You have 4 suspects sitting in 4 different interrogation rooms. Suspects A, B, C, and D. You don't walk in trying to figure out who is guilty right away. It is often much faster and much more accurate to prove who is definitely innocent. You focus on eliminating the options that are definitely wrong based on the evidence.
That is the exact correct approach. Process of elimination is incredibly powerful because it reduces your cognitive load. If option A mentions a specific year that isn't anywhere in the text, eliminate it. If option D states the exact opposite of the author's conclusion, cross it out aggressively.
Once you've interrogated the suspects and narrowed it down from 4 to maybe 2 highly plausible options, what is the next step?
Then you locate the specific paragraph in the text that deals with this topic. And here's the crucial energy-saving part. You read only that specific paragraph carefully.
Only that one.
Yes. You do not reread the entire preceding page to get the context. You trust your initial scan, isolate the paragraph, and analyze it deeply to differentiate between your final 2 options.
Preserve your mental energy at all costs. Now, what about short answer questions? These seem structurally similar to completion questions, but there are no options to choose from and no sentences to just drop a word into.
Short answer questions are actually very straightforward comprehension questions. They are the most traditional form of reading assessment. They're like the questions you got in primary school.
Right.
The text states a series of facts, and the question asks you directly about one of those facts using a WH question word: who, what, where, when, why, or how.
Let's pause on your use of the word straightforward. That's an excellent B2 vocabulary word that we should lock in.
It is.
If something is straightforward, it is uncomplicated, easy to understand, and highly direct. There are no hidden tricks, no complex metaphors, and no psychological traps.
Exactly. An example sentence in daily life would be, the recipe for this traditional soup is very straightforward. You just chop the vegetables, boil the broth, and let it simmer. Or in business, the manager gave straightforward instructions on how to file the expense reports. In the context of reading, a straightforward question means the answer is directly and explicitly stated in the text.
But if they are so straightforward, what is the trap? Why do advanced learners still lose points on these?
Because of complacency. Because they are straightforward, students rush, and consequently, they fail to focus in on what the question is actually asking. They find the right general area of the text and just copy down the first noun they see.
Let's break down that phrasal verb you just used. Focus in on. How is that different from just saying focus?
To focus in on something implies a narrowing of attention. It means to direct all of your cognitive energy to one highly specific detail or central point, actively ignoring all peripheral distractions.
Right.
Imagine a photographer adjusting the physical lens of a camera. They turn the dial so that one specific object in the background becomes crystal clear, while everything else in the foreground blurs out. They're focusing in on the subject.
I love that visual. So, in a professional setting, you might say, during today's board meeting, we need to focus in on the fourth quarter budget deficit and ignore the new marketing proposals for now.
Perfect example.
So, for short answer questions, if you don't focus in on the specific WH question word, you will write down the wrong data point.
Exactly. If the text says, in 1999, Dr. Smith discovered the enzyme in the Amazon rainforest, and the question asks, where was the enzyme discovered? Quote, you must focus in on where. If you rush and just see Dr. Smith and write his name down, you fail.
Makes sense.
You must underline the keywords in the question. Usually these are nouns, people, places, objects. Then generate synonyms for those keywords in your mind and use those synonyms to scan the text and extract the exact piece of data requested.
So, dealing with text and words can be tricky, but we've got a system. But what happens when you turn the page of your reading exam and suddenly you aren't looking at paragraphs anymore? What happens when you are staring at a complex, highly detailed diagram of a ship's engine or the cross-section of a volcano that you know absolutely nothing about? Don't panic.
This represents a massive shift in cognitive processing. You are shifting from processing purely linguistic text to processing spatial and visual information. This is called a labeling a diagram task. And I can tell you from years of experience, it causes immense, immediate panic for a vast majority of learners.
I would absolutely panic. If I turn the page of an English language test and suddenly I'm looking at the schematic for a hydraulic pump system of a nuclear submarine with arrows pointing to different valves, my heart is going to sink. My immediate thought is going to be, I am an English student, not a nautical engineer. How am I supposed to know how a hydraulic pump works?
That is the most common visceral reaction. It's called an amygdala hijack your brains, fear center takes over, because it is presented with completely alien visual data. But this is where you have to take a deep breath, logically assess the situation, and realize a fundamental truth about test design. No one expects you to be a nautical engineer.
Okay. Wow.
It is believed that they are not testing your pre-existing knowledge of submarine mechanics or tectonic plates or cellular biology.
Okay, if they aren't testing my knowledge of the subject, what are they actually testing? Why put a submarine engine on an English test?
They are testing your adaptability. They're testing your ability to interpret new, highly complex information in English. This is a vital, non-negotiable, real-world skill.
I see.
Think about it. When you move to a new country or start a new corporate job, you will constantly be faced with unfamiliar systems. You will have to decipher a new underground subway map, read a complex diagram for assembling office furniture, or figure out a flowchart explaining your new health insurance brackets.
Oh, the dreaded furniture assembly instructions.
Exactly. You have to be able to look at an alien visual, look at the accompanying explanatory text, map the text to the visual, and make the connection.
You used a really crucial word there. Interpret. That is a fantastic C1 level verb that we need to highlight because it is central to what you were describing.
Interpret comes from the Latin interpretare, meaning to explain or translate. But in modern usage, it means to decide what the intended meaning of something is, or to extract meaning from complex data. It is the bridge between raw information and true comprehension.
A simple B1 synonym would be understand or explain, but interpret implies a much deeper, more active level of analysis. You don't just understand a complex poem, you interpret its hidden themes. Or in a medical setting, we need the senior radiologist to interpret these MRI scans because the anomalies are too subtle for a general practitioner.
Precisely. You are assigning meaning to data. So when you see an unfamiliar diagram of a submarine engine on a test, you must shut down the panic response. Look at the diagram logically.
Right.
Highlight the descriptive keywords pointing to the empty spaces, words like valve, chamber, pressure. Then use your scanning skills to locate the specific paragraph in the text that describes the mechanics of the engine. The text will always hold your hand and walk you through the diagram sequentially.
And the mechanics of solving this are very similar to table and flowchart completion tasks, right?
Very similar, yes. The only difference is the visual format. A table organizes information logically into columns and rows, often comparing different categories. A flowchart shows a process moving step by step through time, usually with arrows.
Got it.
The absolute necessity here is, once again, the rule we established earlier. Reading the instructions meticulously. If the bold text says one word or a number, you must adhere to that strictly, and you must copy the words exactly as they appear in the text to avoid those tragic adrenaline-induced spelling errors.
Next, we are going to tackle the most dreaded, feared, and universally misunderstood concept in the entire realm of reading comprehension. It is the ghost that haunts every student. If you master this, you master the text.
We are transitioning away from finding exact visual labels or specific words. We are now entering the highly abstract philosophical realm of evaluating whether information even exists at all within the universe of the text.
The void.
Yes, we are talking about the infamous true, false, not given questions.
Oh boy. The sheer volume of misinformation, bad advice, and confusion online about this specific topic is staggering. Students are absolutely terrified of the not given option.
It is the single greatest source of lost points. So let's demystify it right now. Let's break it down to its absolute core logic. True, false, not given questions are entirely 100% about evaluating objective facts presented in the text.
Okay. Facts. Objective realities within the article.
Yes. The fatal flaw most students make here is reverting to their basic scanning skills. They focus only on individual keywords in the statement, find those same keywords in the text, and immediately assume the answer is true. But a keyword focus will make you lose the holistic context. You must evaluate the meaning of the entire sentence. True means the test statement means exactly, factually the same thing as the text, even if it uses completely different synonyms. False means the statement directly contradicts the facts in the text. It means the opposite is true.
And then we arrive at the void. Not given. What does that actually mean?
Not given is where students' logic betrays them. Not given simply means the text doesn't explicitly confirm the statement, nor does it explicitly deny the statement. The information required to make a definitive judgment is simply missing.
Give me an example of how this breaks people's brains.
Let's say the text is a biography of a famous scientist. The text says, Marie Curie conducted groundbreaking research in Paris. Now, the test statement says, Marie Curie loved living in Paris.
I see the trap. Logically, as a human being reading that, I would think, well, she did her best work there. She spent years there. Paris is a beautiful city. She probably loved it. True.
Exactly. You are bringing your own outside logic and assumptions into the vault. That is a violation of our first foundational mindset. Did the author explicitly state her emotional feelings about the city? No. Therefore, we cannot say it is true, and we cannot say it is false. The information is simply not given. It does not mean the statement is a lie in the real historical world. It just means within the boundaries of this specific text, the author did not provide the data.
This concept gets even trickier and honestly more insidious when we move from true, false, not given to yes, not given questions. Because these aren't about evaluating objective facts anymore, are they?
Correct. This is a subtle but massive distinction. While true, false evaluates facts, yes, not given questions evaluate the writer's opinion, their claims, or their beliefs.
Okay, let me push back on this to make sure I truly understand the mechanics, because I know this trips up native speakers too. Let's create a hypothetical scenario. Let's say we have an article analyzing the stationery industry. And paragraph 3 says, according to market analyst Jason Bourne, purple pens are the greatest writing invention of the century. Now, I go to the question sheet, and the statement says, does the writer believe purple pens are great? What is the answer?
That is a brilliant, highly deceptive example. The definitive answer to that question is not given.
But wait. The text clearly says, right there on the page, that Jason thinks they are the greatest invention. How is it not given?
Because of attribution, you have to be laser focused on whose opinion the question is asking about. The question asks what the writer of the article believes. The text tells us what Jason believes. The writer is simply acting as a journalist, reporting Jason's opinion. The text does not give us a single clue as to whether the writer agrees with Jason or thinks Jason is completely crazy. Because the writer's personal stance is absent, the writer's opinion is not given.
Wow. That is a massive, elegant trap. It requires such incredible precision. You weren't just reading the words, you are parsing the perspective and the source of the claim.
Exactly. You must be a linguistic detective. Now, to succeed in all of these question types, to see through the traps and map the vault quickly, you need a core speed reading tool. And that tool is the absolute mastery of synonyms. You cannot rely on scanning for the exact word from the question statement in the text.
Right, because of the availability heuristic we talked about. If the question asks about the history of the pen, the text will almost certainly not use the word pen in the topic sentence. It might talk about the evolution of the writing instrument or the ink-based writing utensil.
Yes.
If your brain is rigidly scanning for the letters P-E-N, your eyes will slide right past the answer 3 times.
This is why active vocabulary expansion is critical. Let's do a synonym practice section right now. It is interactive time. This is a vital drill for increasing your reading speed and cognitive flexibility.
Okay, listener, get ready to engage Broca's area again. I'm going to say a common B2 academic word, and I will give you a second. I want you to literally shout out a synonym, a word that means the exact same thing wherever you are right now. If you are in your car, yell it at the steering wheel. If you are in your living room, say it to your cat. Just say it out loud. Ready?
Let's do it.
The first word is advantage. I'll give you a second.
You could have generated words like benefit, positive aspect, upside, or strength. If the text says benefit, but the question says advantage, you need to instantly connect them.
Let's do another one. Ramp up the speed. Shout out a synonym for crucial.
You might have said essential, vital, critical, key, or our new favorite word, imperative.
One more. Let's make it a verb. What is the synonym for deteriorate?
Excellent options would be worsen, decline, degrade, fall apart, or decay. Training your brain to instantly generate these vast webs of synonyms is what allows you to scan a text rapidly for meaning, rather than this hunting for matching shapes.
Before we move on from this section, let's look at one more high-level vocabulary word, contradict. This is a C1 word that is absolutely essential for understanding when an answer is false or no.
To contradict comes from Latin. Contra, meaning against, and dicere, meaning to speak. To speak against. It means to state the exact opposite of what someone else has said, or for a piece of evidence to be so fundamentally different from another statement that one of them must be a lie.
So if the text explicitly says the government's environmental project was a complete failure, and the question statement says the government's project achieved all its major goals, the statement contradicts the text. Therefore, the answer is false.
Precisely. Another example in a legal context. The security camera footage contradicts the suspect's alibi. It means the footage shows the suspect at the bank while his alibi claims he was at home. The visual evidence speaks against his words.
Right.
If a test statement contradicts the author's facts, your answer is false. If it contradicts the author's opinion, your answer is no.
So what does this all mean for the next type of challenge? You might be using your own logic to put pieces together. And as we've learned, that is a fatal error.
We are transitioning now from evaluating abstract statements and opinions to the physical mechanics of piecing the text back together. We are entering the territory of matching questions.
Let's start with matching sentences. This format is tricky. You were given the first half of the sentence, the subject, and maybe the auxiliary verb, and below, you have a list of possible sentence endings. Your job is to pair them up perfectly based on the text.
The fatal error here, the psychological trap that catches so many highly intelligent, grammatically proficient learners, is relying on personal logic or grammatical rules instead of verifying with the text itself. It is a form of confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. What do you mean by that in this context? If the grammar of an ending fits the beginning perfectly and it makes logical sense, isn't that a massive clue?
It is a clue, but a clue is not a verdict. Test designers will deliberately create sentence endings that are grammatically flawless and logically sound in the real world, but are completely factually incorrect based on the specific text.
Nikki.
Let's say the beginning of the sentence is, the newly discovered species of desert bird. And you look at the list of endings. One ending says, migrate south for the winter to find food. You read that and think, well, logically, birds migrate south. And grammatically, the subject-verb agreement is perfect. That must be the answer.
But wait, if you don't actually scan the text to verify, the text might contain a surprising scientific anomaly. The text might explicitly state that this specific new bird species is unique because it migrates north to mountainous regions, or perhaps it doesn't migrate at all and hibernates.
Exactly. You just let your real-world logic override the text's reality. Everything, absolutely everything, must be based on what is explicitly, undeniably stated in the text. Your outside knowledge, your assumptions about biology, and your grammatical instincts must be left at the door of the vault. You have to predict endings based on your reading, match the obvious ones, and systematically eliminate the wrong ones by physically verifying their existence in the paragraphs.
Then there is the beast known as matching names.
Grace.
This format is notorious. You get a list of researchers, scientists, or historical figures mentioned in the text, and you have to match them to a specific statement they made or the theory they proposed.
Oh, this one.
I always picture the exhausted reader at this point. They are 40 minutes into a long, grueling reading test. Their cognitive budget is depleted. They see a list of 8 different scientists and they just start guessing randomly because they were too tired to scan the whole text again.
It is absolutely a test of endurance as much as a test of language proficiency. Test makers bank on that fatigue. They know your brain is running low on glucose. But there is a brilliant algorithmic shortcut for matching names that saves an immense amount of time and preserves your mental energy.
I love algorithmic shortcuts. Tell us the secret.
First, before you read anything, scan the entire text and physically underline or circle every single capitalized name you see. Don't read the sentences around them, just hunt for the visual shape of the capital letters and underline them.
Okay, map the names.
Now, you will notice something interesting. Some names, usually the lead researchers, might appear 3 or 4 times across different paragraphs as their theories are debated, but some names, the minor assistants or secondary researchers, will only be mentioned once in the entire text.
Okay, I'm following. You map out the frequency of the name.
Yes, and here is the tactical strike. You start with the names that are only mentioned once.
Why?
Because if Dr. 10 is only mentioned in paragraph 4, you know exactly, with 100% certainty, where to look for her opinion. You don't have to read 4 different paragraphs and synthesize her shifting viewpoints. You just read that one specific sentence in paragraph 4, match her theory to the statement on your test, and cross Dr. Chen off your list forever.
That is an absolute stroke of genius.
Right.
You are narrowing down the options and shrinking the pool of statements by tackling the most isolated, easily locatable targets first. You are gaming the system.
Exactly. By removing the easy targets, it makes it mathematically and cognitively much easier to differentiate between the remaining, more complex statements associated with the main researchers.
Differentiate. Let's pause and appreciate that C1 vocabulary word. It's a powerful analytical verb.
To differentiate comes from the root word different. It means to show or find the specific difference between things that are being compared. It is about recognizing what makes 2 closely related concepts distinct from one another.
So a simple B1 synonym would be to distinguish or tell apart. For example, in daily life, it is very difficult to differentiate between the identical twins because they dress exactly the same.
Perfect.
But in an academic setting, it is much deeper. The essay requires you to differentiate between Karl Marx's early philosophical writings and his later economic theories.
Yes. In the context of our reading strategy, if you cross off the minor scientists first, it becomes much easier to differentiate the highly nuanced, closely related arguments of the main researchers who are mentioned multiple times. You've removed the noise and clutter from your brain's working memory.
If you connect this tactical approach to the bigger picture, how do you handle matching massive, overwhelming paragraphs when there's an incredible amount of information to digest all at once?
This transition moves us into the final macro-level reading strategies. We are no longer looking for specific names, single dates, or isolated facts. We are zooming out.
Right.
We are dealing with entire blocks of text and their overarching architecture. We are talking about matching headings and matching information to paragraphs.
Let's talk about matching headings first, because this is where many students lose control of their time. You are given a list of paragraph headings, basically mini titles, summarizing a core idea, and you have to assign the correct title to each paragraph A, B, C, D in the text. And to be cruel, there are always more headings provided than there are paragraphs to trick you.
The standard advice fails here. Most people read the list of headings first and then read the text. But here is a game-changing strategy that goes against what many people naturally do. If you have a reading section that includes matching headings questions, you must execute those questions first before you attempt any other question type in that specific section.
Wait, first? Why? I thought we were doing the where before what's rule and hunting for specific details first to save time.
Because matching headings is the one exception to the rule. Matching headings requires you to understand the holistic main idea of every single paragraph. You cannot scan for this.
I see.
By doing this macro task first, you are forcing yourself to read and comprehend the entire structural flow of the text. Once you have built that mental map of the vault, all the other micro questions in that section, like the multiple choice or the fill in the blanks we discussed earlier, become exponentially faster to solve because you already know which paragraph holds which category of information.
That is incredibly strategic. It's like doing a flyover in a helicopter to map the terrain before you send in the ground troops. But how do we actually solve the heading question without getting confused and misled by all the extra, deliberately tricky options they provide?
This is where we use cognitive psychology to protect ourselves from priming bias. The core action is radical. When you turn to the heading questions, you must ignore the given headings completely at first. Do not even let your eyes scan them.
Wait, literally hide them?
Yes. Physically cover the list of headings with your hand or a piece of paper. If you read the test's headings first, your brain will be primed to look for those specific ideas, even if they are only minor details in the text. You will force the text to fit the heading.
Oh, wow.
Instead, cover the options. Read paragraph A. Based purely on your own objective understanding, write your own short, rough heading in the margin. Ask yourself, what is the author actually trying to say here? Then read paragraph B and write your own heading.
I see the brilliance in this. So if paragraph A is a dense historical account of how the Romans engineered their aqueducts, I might just scribble Roman water systems in the margin.
Exactly. You synthesize the meaning in your own words. Once you have written your own honest headings for all the paragraphs, then you uncover the test's list of headings. You will miraculously find that many of your personal handwritten headings match almost perfectly with the correct options on the test.
That's amazing.
You've bypassed the confusing, tricky, manipulative language of the wrong distractors by establishing your own foundational understanding first.
That is a profoundly powerful technique. You are trusting your own comprehension over the test designer's tricks. Now, what about the inverse of this? Matching information. This is the format where the prompt says, which paragraph contains the following information?
Yeah.
A description of new medical tool. And you have to write A, B, C, or D.
Conversely to headings, you should always do information matching last in any given section.
Okay, headings first to build the map. Information matching last. Explain the underlying logic of leaving it for the end.
Because matching information requires you to find tiny, hyper-specific details hidden somewhere within massive paragraphs. The statement doesn't follow chronological order. Statement 1 might be in paragraph F, and statement 2 might be in paragraph A.
It's all jumbled.
The cognitive load required to hunt for these needles in a haystack from scratch is immense. If you try to do it first, you will have to consume and digest the entire text multiple times, exhausting your brain.
Let's talk about that specific phrase you just used because it paints such a vivid picture. Consume and digest. We usually use that terminology for eating a heavy meal.
Yes, it is a beautiful linguistic metaphor. To consume literally means to eat or drink, to ingest something, and to digest means your biological system breaks that food down in your stomach to absorb the vital nutrients.
Right.
But in advanced English, we use these beautifully as metaphors for how we process information. To consume information means to rapidly read it, watch it, or listen to it. But to digest information is a C1 level concept. It means to process it deeply in your mind, to analyze it, to think about it over time until you truly, fundamentally understand its implications.
I love that metaphor so much. In a corporate setting, you might say, the annual financial report was so dense and technical, it took me 3 days to fully digest the findings before I could present them to the board.
Perfect.
So, applying this to our test strategy,
Yeah.
you are saying that if we intentionally do the information matching last, we have already digested the text while answering the headings and the multiple choice questions.
Precisely. You have already absorbed the nutrients of the text. Familiarizing yourself with the terrain beforehand drastically reduces the cognitive load. You look at the specific information statement and your brain will intuitively say, a description of a new medical tool. I remember reading about tools near the end of the text when I was doing the multiple choice. Let me check paragraph E.
It just clicks.
You skim, you verify the statement, and if you can't find it within a minute, you need to employ another vital skill. You need to be willing to move on confidently.
To move on. That's a great, highly practical phrasal verb.
It means to stop doing or discussing one current thing, leave it behind, and begin doing or discussing something else. In a high-stakes test environment, moving on isn't giving up. It is a critical survival skill.
Right.
Do not let your ego force you to spend 5 precious minutes staring at one single paragraph if you can't find the answer. Move on. The answer might intuitively reveal itself later as you work through other questions.
We have systematically cracked the vault. We've covered all 12 major strategies, bypassed the multiple choice lasers, and decoded the not given traps. But there's one final bonus secret that ties everything together.
Oh, yes.
Stay tuned, because this might be the most important part of the entire deep dive.
We have spent this entire intensive session looking outward. We've analyzed the mechanics of the text, the psychological design of the test questions, and the tactical steps you can take to dismantle those questions. But the final piece of the puzzle isn't about the text at all.
What is it about?
It is about looking inward. It is about you, the listener. The data and psychological profiling of high-achieving test takers show that the ultimate key to achieving a master-level C1 or C2 band score is not just memorizing these 12 methods that we discussed today.
It's deeper than that.
It is believed that the absolute most powerful strategy of all is metacognition. Identifying your own personal cognitive weaknesses and aggressively practicing those specific gaps.
Oh, that makes so much logical sense. It's about targeted training. If you are statistically amazing at true, false, not given questions, but you always panic and fail at matching headings, you shouldn't spend your valuable study time taking full 2-hour practice tests over and over again. You're just reinforcing what you already know. You should spend an entire week doing absolutely nothing but matching headings exercises until you completely conquer that specific fear and rewire your brain's response to it.
It requires a high degree of self-awareness and brutal honesty. You have to look at your mistakes not as emotional failures or signs of low intelligence, but purely as objective data. Every wrong answer is a compass pointing you toward your next breakthrough. They are showing you exactly where the cracks in your own armor are so you can focus your energy on repairing them.
Now, speaking of focus energy, it's time for homework. Yes, we give homework on this deep dive. We want to see your active commitment to improving your English.
We want you to create a public pact, right? I am consistent in the comment box right now to officially commit to your language learning journey. Motivation fades, adrenaline drops, but consistency is the only true magic trick in language learning.
Also, we want to test your working memory. We covered a massive amount of advanced vocabulary and cognitive concepts today. Pick one keyword, idiom, or phrasal verb we explained today, maybe imperative, or differentiate, or clear up, or even consume and digest, and write the answer in the comment box with your own original creative example sentence.
We want to see you actively using the language, not just passively listening to it.
And please, let us know what you need from us next to aid your journey. Write your feedback below and tell us which kind of specific topic do you want for the next video. What are you struggling with?
Yeah, let us know.
Do hype if you like this video. Give it that energy and listen closely to this opportunity. If you want to read an incredible high-level article about English linguistics and reading strategies, go to the description box right now. I provide a special link. If you subscribe just once, you will receive a premium free article delivered straight into your email for free every single time we publish. That is pure, high-quality reading practice delivered straight to you effortlessly.
Taking advantage of that is highly recommended. Reading daily, even just for 10 minutes, is the most scientifically proven way to naturally internalize all the complex grammatical structures, the academic vocabulary, and the synonymous phrasing we discussed today.
If you enjoyed this podcast, there are many more podcasts on my channel covering everything from speaking fluency to advanced grammar. Go check them out and binge watch your favorites. Surround yourself with a language. Submerge yourself in it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to keep this community growing and learning together.
As we close the vault today, I will leave you with this final, broader thought to consider. We live in an era of unprecedented digital distraction. In a world where we are constantly scanning 15-second videos, mindlessly scrolling through endless social media feeds, and merely skimming the quick headlines of our news apps, deep, focused reading is rapidly becoming a lost human art.
It really is a tragedy. Our collective attention spans are measurably shrinking year by year. We are losing the ability to sit with complex thoughts.
But by undertaking this challenge, by mastering these specific, difficult reading skills, by learning how to analyze, interpret, and digest dense academic information, you aren't just learning how to pass an English test or get a certificate. You are doing something much more profound. You are utilizing neuroplasticity. You're literally rewiring your brain's neural pathways to hold sustained focus, to systematically analyze complex arguments, and to think critically in an increasingly fragmented and distracted world. You are taking back control of your own attention.
Wow. Until next time, keep reading, keep challenging yourself, and keep speaking.